Have you ever wondered what would happen if a great mind was born in the wrong place? With no money, no power, and no support? This is not a story about magic or luck. It is a story about logic, courage, and a young boy who refused to believe that his background defined his future. In a world full of locked doors, he learned that the most powerful key was not money or status, but the human mind. This is the story of the unlocked mind. In the bustling, chaotic city of Chennai, there lived a young boy named Arjun. Arjun was not ordinary. His mind worked in elegant, logical sequences, finding patterns in the rustle of leaves and the rhythm of the local train. His gift was mathematics. At 16, he solved a problem that had stumped his entire state in the National Mathematical Olympiad. The solution was so beautifully simple, it earned him a gold medal and a handshake from the state's education minister at a grand ceremony. "Young man," the minister said, smiling for the cameras, "if you ever need help, any help at all, my door is always open for our brightest star." But stars fade quickly in a sky ruled by caste and class. Arjun's family was Dalit. They lived in a cramped, two-room home near the railway tracks. His father repaired bicycles. His mother took in sewing. The medal brought a week's pride, then was placed on a shelf, gathering dust. Arjun's real dream was to study at the Indian Institute of Technology. For that, he needed advanced journals only available at the city central library. The day he walked in, clean but in faded clothes, the librarian, a stern man named Mr. Shastri, blocked his path. "This section is for members," Shastri said, not looking up from his ledger. "I'd like to become a member," Arjun replied politely. "Do you have a recommendation from a graduate or a proof of address from a registered housing society?" Arjun did not. He mentioned the minister's promise. Shastri laughed, a dry, hollow sound. "Ministers make promises. I make rules. Leave." As Arjun turned, defeated, a soft voice called from behind a bookshelf. It was Mrs. Nair, a retired mathematics teacher, who volunteered at the library. She slipped a note into his hand. "There's an online academic forum," she whispered. "They publish the latest international journals. If you solve their problem of the month, they grant full access. Try." That night, at a borrowed internet cafe, Arjun found the forum. The problem was a fiendish calculus puzzle. He worked on it for 3 days, using scraps of paper, his mind weaving through derivatives and integrals. When he submitted a solution, he felt a thrill he hadn't known since the Olympiad. A week later, an email arrived. "Solution accepted. Full access granted. Brilliant work." For Arjun, it was as if someone had handed him the keys to a universe of knowledge. He began to spend every free moment at the cyber cafe, consuming papers from MIT, Cambridge, and Stanford. He learned a legendary, unsolved problem known as the Chennai conundrum, a theoretical math puzzle with implications for computer encryption. The first person to solve it would be invited to present at the International Mathematics Conference in London. Arjun became obsessed. For months, his world shrank to problem. He saw equations in his sleep. He forgot to eat. Finally, on a monsoon night, with rain hammering the tin roof, the final piece clicked. He had it. The solution was 2 pages of breathtaking logic. To submit it, he needed to send a physical copy by registered post to London. The cost was 2,200 rupees, more than his father's monthly income. His father, seeing the fire in Arjun's eyes, did something he had never done. He gathered his fellow bicycle repairmen. "My son has a chance to go to London for science," he pleaded. But the men shook their heads. One said what they all thought: "A Dalit boy in London? They will laugh at him. Stay where you belong." That night, Arjun's father quietly pawned his wife's only gold necklace, her wedding gift. He placed the money in Arjun's hand. "Go," was all he said. The submission was sent. Arjun also shared the news with Priya, the daughter of a local shopkeeper he admired from afar. She was kind, studied literature, and dreamed of being a writer. In a moment of hopeful madness, he told her, "When I return from London, I will speak to your father." Weeks of anxious waiting followed. Then, a thick envelope arrived from the University of Cambridge. Professor Alastair Finch, a giant in the field, had seen his solution. "Your work is groundbreaking," he wrote. "A full scholarship is waiting for you here. Come." The family wept with joy. But Cambridge meant a student visa, air tickets, and living costs, lakhs of rupees. Remembering the minister's promise, Arjun and his father put on their best clothes and traveled to the imposing state government building. The minister received them warmly. Then his smile faded as Arjun explained. "Money?" the minister sighed. "My boy, at your age, you should think of knowledge, not money. Wealth corrupts young minds. Work hard. That is all." The door was politely but firmly closed. On the long bus ride home, Arjun's father aged 10 years. He tried banks, moneylenders, even shady loan sharks. Every no was a nail in his heart. One evening, clutching a rejection letter from a bank, he collapsed. A massive heart attack. The family's old bicycle was the only transport to the hospital. The chain snapped on the way. By the time they carried him in, he was gone. The light went out of Arjun's world. He withdrew from Priya. He took over his father's bicycle repair stall. His Cambridge acceptance letter was stored under his mattress. A forgotten dream. The sharp, logical mind that solved the Chennai conundrum now calculated the cost of spare parts and the price of rice. 2 years passed. Arjun was now a skilled repairman, his hands greasy, his spirit numb. One afternoon, a sleek car pulled up beside his stall. The window rolled down to reveal Mr. Kapoor, a wealthy businessman who owned Elite Educators, the city's most successful coaching center for the IIT entrance exams. "Arjun, the math champion," Mr. Kapoor exclaimed. He had been at the Olympiad ceremony. "What are you doing here?" Hearing Arjun's story, Mr. Kapoor made an offer. "Come work for me. Be our star math tutor. Your name alone will fill classrooms. I will pay you 10 times what you earn here." It was a lifeline. Arjun took it. He traded his oil-stained clothes for crisp shirts. He was a natural teacher, able to break down complex concepts into simple, logical steps. Students adored him. He bought his mother a refrigerator. He bought himself a modest scooter. One evening, leaving a lavish coaching center, he saw a young boy, no more than 12, sitting under a streetlight, scratching equations in the dust with a stick. The boy's focus was absolute. Arjun recognized the look. It was his own. "What are you working on?" Arjun asked. The boy, named Dev, explained a problem from his free government school textbook. He was stuck. In 5 minutes, Arjun showed him a different approach. Dev's eyes lit up with the pure joy of understanding. "Do you go to a coaching center?" Arjun asked. Dev shook his head. "We cannot afford it, sir." That night, Arjun couldn't sleep. He saw Dev's face. He saw his own father's face. The memory of the library, the minister's hollow promise, the snap bicycle chain, it all played in a loop. The next day, he made a decision. He went to Mr. Kapoor and resigned. "Have you gone mad?" Mr. Kapoor shouted. "I made you." "You gave me a job," Arjun corrected calmly. "Now I must give someone else a chance." He sold his scooter, his new watch, and used the money to rent a tiny, tin-roof shed in his old neighborhood. He painted a sign, "Free IIT math coaching." The news spread like wildfire. On the first day, over 100 children from the slums showed up, children of sewer cleaners, street vendors, and rag pickers. They carried torn notebooks and hope. Arjun could only take 30 due to space. He taught them differently. His first lesson wasn't math. It was logic. "Look around," he said. "You see that street vendor? He has 50 lemons. He sells 10 every hour. How long until he sells out? That is algebra. You hear that train? It's speed and the time it takes to pass a point. That is calculus. Mathematics is not in books. It is the logic of the world. Your world." He taught them to think, not just memorize. He used cricket to explain projectile motion local market discounts to explain percentages, and the pattern of streetlights to explain sequences. Mr. Kapoor was furious. He saw Arjun's school as a threat. He first tried to bribe him to stop. Then he tried threats. "I made you. I can break you," he warned. Arjun was unmoved. Then Mr. Kapoor played his masterstroke. He organized a public math duel between his top 10 fee-paying students and Arjun's 30. The challenge: whoever lost was shut down. The duel was held in a public hall. The problems were incredibly tough, designed by Mr. Kapoor's most ruthless professors. Arjun's students fought valiantly. They solved problems using the intuitive, real-world logic Arjun had taught them. But they lost by just 5 points. Mr. Kapoor stood triumphantly. "As agreed, you will close your shed tomorrow." Arjun's students were devastated. That night, as Arjun sat in the dark shed, Priya walked in. He hadn't seen her in years. She was now a journalist. "I heard what happened," she said. She placed a recorded tape on the table. It was a conversation she had secretly captured of Mr. Kapoor bragging to a friend about how he had paid the judges of the duel to favor his students. "The agreement was based on a fair competition," Priya said. "It wasn't fair. Therefore, the agreement is void. That is logic, isn't it?" The next day, Arjun played the tape publicly. The scandal erupted. Mr. Kapoor was disgraced. The duel was declared null and void. But Arjun had learned a deeper lesson from the loss. His students hadn't lacked knowledge. They had lacked confidence. The sight of the rich, English-speaking students from elite educators had intimidated them into making silly errors. So Arjun declared a new rule. Every Sunday would be English Day. They would only speak English, no matter how broken. They would stand in the busy market and explain a math concept to strangers in English. At first, it was torture. They were mocked, but slowly, their stammering turned into sentences. Their hunched shoulders straightened. They learned that their ideas had value, no matter their accent. Meanwhile, Arjun faced a practical crisis. He had no money to feed his students their daily lunch. He approached a struggling local restaurant owner, a man losing customers. "Sir," Arjun said, "your daily customer count has dropped from 200 to 150 in 6 months. Your fixed costs remain the same. Your profit margin is shrinking by 2.5% every month. I can show you why and how to fix it. In return, I need lunches for 30 for 3 months." Intrigued, the owner agreed. Arjun analyzed his menu, his seating, and his supply chain. He suggested small, logical changes, a combo meal to increase average spend, a loyalty program using simple punch cards. Within a month, the owner's business improved. The lunches were secured. The final showdown was not with Mr. Kapoor, but with the very system. The education minister, whose interests were tied to the multi-billion rupee private coaching industry, saw Arjun's free school as a dangerous idea. He couldn't have poor children believing they could succeed without paying. One night, thugs hired by the minister's allies attacked the shed, trying to destroy it. But Arjun's students were ready. They didn't fight with fists. They fought with the physics and chemistry they had learned. They used mirrors and angles to reflect blinding light into the thugs' eyes. They created a loud, screeching feedback loop using an old microphone and speaker to disorient them. They mixed harmless but pungent chemicals from cleaning supplies to create a smoke screen. The thugs fled, confused and defeated by a bunch of poor kids with books. The day of the IIT entrance exam results arrived. The entire neighborhood gathered. One by one, the results were read out. Dev Kumar, rank 48. Meena Shankar, rank 127. Vijay Patel, rank 302. All 30 students had passed. Not just passed, they had secured ranks within the top 2,000, guaranteeing them seats in India's finest engineering institutes. There was no shouting, just a profound, tearful silence. Then, a roar of joy that shook the railway tracks. Arjun gathered his students one last time. "You did this," he said. "Your logic, your hard work. Remember this feeling. Remember that your mind is the greatest tool you will ever own. No one can lock it unless you throw away the key. In the years that followed, Arjun Shed became an institution. He never made a rupee from it. Donations from his now successful former students funded its expansion. Over the next 15 years, he guided over 400 students from the slums into IITs and beyond. The story of the bicycle repairman's son who became a teacher, not in Cambridge, but in a tin shed, became legend. He proved that the most powerful logic is not just in solving abstract problems, but in solving the most human one of all, how to unlock potential that the world has tried so hard to lock away. Epilogue. Years later, a prestigious international education conference was held in Delhi. The keynote speaker was a renowned Cambridge professor. His lecture was on democratizing advanced mathematics. In the front row, dressed in a simple kurta, sat Arjun. After the talk, the professor, an older man with sharp eyes, walked straight to him. "Your work is the most important application of theoretical mathematics I have ever seen," the professor said. It was Professor Finch, the man who had sent the Cambridge letter a lifetime ago. "You build a bridge with logic. I would be honored if you would come to Cambridge next semester as a visiting fellow to teach us what you know." This time, there was no barrier of money or caste. Arjun smiled. "I would be honored," he replied, "but only if my ticket is booked for after the monsoon exams. My students need me." For Arjun, the greatest equation had finally balanced. He had not reached his dream, but he had become a dream for hundreds of others. And in that, he found a victory far greater than any scholarship. Arjun never became famous. He never became rich. He never stood above others. Instead, he stood with them. He learned that success is not only about reaching the top, but about turning back and lifting others up with you. The world tried to lock his future because of where he came from, but he proved one powerful truth. A mind that can think cannot be chained. No matter who you are, no matter where you start, if you keep learning, thinking, and believing, your mind will always find a way to unlock your destiny. Thank you for listening. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and follow for more.